Daddy police are taking me away. You ever hear your daughter's voice tremble with that much fear? And you're powerless 12,000 miles away, stuck on some boring work trip, feeling your blood turn to ice. Yeah, that happened to me. This whole thing started as some petty join our HOA nonsense, but by the time I realized what Janet Morrison was capable of, my wife Lisa and our 11-year-old Sophie were smack in the middle of a nightmare I never saw coming. And me, I was a ghost in Singapore, watching my family get ambushed from across the world, feeling every bit as useless as a screen door on a submarine. See, Janet wasn't just after another name on her HOA roster. She wanted absolute control in our house, the one built 3 years before her little kingdom even existed, was the last holdout. Legally, she couldn't touch us. But for Janet, this wasn't about the rules. It was about power money and being queen bee. She needed every house signed up for some juicy $500, $1,000 city grant, but I swear what she really needed was someone to put her in her place. When Lisa texted me Janet's at the door again, I thought, how bad can it get? Turns out I was clueless. First she calls the cops, says my daughter's flower garden is endangering kids. No, really. Sophie's wildflowers. Officer Rodriguez saw right through it, told Janet to knock it off. Most people would feel embarrassed, maybe bake cookies as an apology. Janet, she doubled down. 2 hours later, cops are back. She claims Sophie destroyed HOA property by picking flowers near the sidewalk. Lisa was done playing nice, dug up her old prosecutor instincts, and documented every second, every word. I swear I could hear that old steel in her voice. Don't worry, Michael, I've got this. But I could hear the stress, too, and it burned me up knowing she was fighting this alone. That night I watched Janet's car crawling past our place on the security cam, slow, deliberate, like she was planning a heist. Lisa tried to explain to Sophie that not everyone in the world is kind, but tried telling an 11-year-old her flowers are a threat. Poor kid started having nightmares about police dragging her away. And Janet, she wasn't even close to done. Lisa found dead flowers on the porch and a note. Last warning. I wanted to jump on the next flight home, but every path back was blocked. Contract penalties, legal threats from my job, even visa delays that made 0 sense. Meanwhile, Janet escalated. She organized an HOA meeting, riled up her little army, and pushed through a $1,000 monthly fine for non-members. Lisa shredded her in front of the whole room with state law, made Janet look like a clown. That should have been the end of it. But public humiliation only made Janet more dangerous. The cops came out again, trespassing, disruption, parking violations, all complete fiction. Rodriguez was exhausted, you could see it in his eyes, but he started giving Janet written warnings. The neighbors finally started talking quietly at first. Turns out Janet had bullied just about everyone. Mrs. Chen whispered about bogus code violations. The mailman grumbled about her interrogations. Janet ruled the block with threats and paranoia, and we were the new rebels. Here's where things went from nuts to criminal. Lisa, being the bloodhound she is, dug into Janet's past. Janet was paying herself $80,000 a year as a volunteer HOA president, money funneled from membership dues protected by her brother Dave, who just happened to sit on city council. Suddenly, our HOA fight wasn't just about control. It was about serious cash, dirty politics, and a racket so obvious even the city dog catcher could have sniffed it out. Janet's power trip was propped up by a whole ecosystem of kickbacks and favors. And when Janet realized she was losing her grip, residents questioning her neighbors, defecting, she hit the nuclear button. She accused Sophie of attacking her with a garden tool. An 11-year-old. Lisa had security footage, timestamps, the works. Rodriguez was done tolerating Janet's stunts. He warned her any more lies, and she'd face felony charges. That should have scared her. Instead, Janet leaned harder on her network. Her brother Dave called Lisa, not even trying to be subtle, drop this, or you'll see what real political power looks like. A city councilman threatening my wife for not submitting to his sister's HOA dictatorship. I'm not going to lie, there were moments I started to wonder if we'd ever be free of these psychos. Flights kept getting canceled, visa paperwork got lost. My company suddenly needed months to replace me. I don't believe in conspiracy theories, but the timing was too perfect. Lisa found Dave's campaign was funded by HOA management companies, all protecting each other, all feeding off residents like leeches. It was a racket, and our family was ground zero. Lisa rallied the neighborhood, started a petition to boot Janet. Suddenly, people found their voices. Mrs. Patterson, Mr. Williams, folks, we'd never even talked to. Everybody had a Janet horror story. Janet's answer. She faked a Child Protective Services report against Lisa, brought in a private investigator, a fake social worker, forged photos, even testimony from neighbors who didn't exist. CPS showed up serious, but Lisa was 10 steps ahead. Documentation, video, real neighbors lining up with character statements. The CPS agent saw right through Janet's farce. But by then, Sophie was scared to go outside. She stopped tending her flowers, kept asking when I'd come home to keep her safe. Janet lost her house, lost her job, lost her brother's protection. But before she went down, she pulled one last stunt, tried to frame us with planted evidence. I landed after 6 months of hell, not knowing what I'd find. My heart pounding as I raced through customs, then our street. There she was, crouched in our backyard, holding a plastic bag, caught in the act trying to plant drugs. I yelled for the cops, Lisa called them. Sophie stood her ground, braver than most adults I know. Janet lunged for our daughter. I tackled her. Rodriguez cuffed her on the spot, listing charges so long you'd think he was reading a novel. That night, for the first time in months, I sat in Sophie's garden, the air sweet with flowers and the promise of peace. Lisa, my wife, the hero, had not only protected our daughter, she'd taken down an entire corruption ring. Janet did jail time. Dave's political career ended in disgrace. The HOA was dissolved. The neighborhood voted to never have another HOA again, and property values actually went up. A year later, Janet's working retail, still bitter, still blaming everyone but herself. Our family's healing, Lisa's strength, Sophie's resilience, even my own guilt, slowly replaced by gratitude. The garden became a place for other kids to learn how to stand up to bullies. And as I tell this, watching Sophie spell "Welcome" with wildflowers, I know we survived because we refused to break even when everything seemed hopeless. So tell me, where do you stand on this? Ever deal with an HOA nightmare, a bully with too much power? Drop your thoughts below. Let's hear your story. Justice is only as strong as the people who fight for it. See you in the next one.